Bobby Ty here with George Blum, top realtor for Keller Williams. So, George Blum, welcome back to the podcast.
Bobby Ty, thanks for having me on again. Always a pleasure to be back in the studio, man.
Absolutely. So, in this episode of the podcast, talking through motivation, determination, and overcoming obstacles, reaching goals, and some other big topics that I think are going to help a lot of people, whether you're in the entry level of the business world, whether you're in a medium level of the business world, or whether you're looking to go to the top of the business world, or if you just want to find success in your own personal life. So when we're talking about motivation and determination and overcoming obstacles, I think a lot of that starts with reaching goals and having clear goal settings, and then being able to reevaluate the goals that you're looking for. So when I look at somebody like you, George, you've got a lot of clients. You've got a lot of clients that have really, really appreciated what you've done for them. Talk about some of the goals that you have.
Client satisfaction is really what I focus on. Really doing what's necessary and what's, the main thing to take care of that client. And really, my goals are kind of like a subsidiary of their goals. Getting what they want is what my goal is, which accomplishes their goal. So it's really a team effort in the end, and that's what I strive to accomplish.
So when I'm looking at my goals, some of the important things that I look at in my work day is, as an operations manager for Amazon, I work in a fulfillment center that's called an AR sortable building. It's one of 40 different AR sortable buildings in the network. There are 1 million square foot facilities that have about 3,000 full-time workers in there. When I go into my day, my goal is to do better in terms of quality and productivity and connection scores compared to the other 40 buildings that are out in the AR network. Those are the goals that I have going into my day, and it really helps drive me throughout the course of the day. It gives me that feeling of motivation and determination. So talk about motivation and determination. When you set goals for yourself to help your clients out, how does that help you feel motivated and inspired throughout the course of the day?
No, at the end of the day, which is good, you're handing a client their keys to the home that they just purchased. When you help someone really relocate to Jacksonville or relocate to Florida, or even they're already in Florida purchasing a home, and you help them accomplish that American dream and home ownership, not only is that rewarding, but I get paid for it as well. It's really like a win-win situation that I'm helping my clients out, but also helping myself and my family out as well.
Right.
And I think that just really hits the nail on the head with that, I think.
Setting goals for yourself really helps drive motivation and determination. And then sometimes you have to reevaluate your goals. And what I mean by that is, right now at work, we're going through a period of time where we're hiring more people than the average AR network building. Because we're doing so much hiring, it doesn't give us the ability to hit those productivity and quality goals that we want to hit. Why? Because we have so many new people in the building that they have to get trained up and coached up to get to that next level of high level productivity and intelligence.
Sounds like that training and coaching is really one of the key factors in bringing those new clients on.
It is, absolutely. Without that good training, that good coaching, and that good education, you can't expect people to get to that level that you want them to be at. So you have to invest that time into them. So when I step back and I reevaluate my own goals going to the day, sometimes it's unrealistic for me to go and beat out every single building in the AR network because I'm hiring so much more than them. So over the past few weeks, reevaluating my goals, I want to finish in the top 50%. Even that's hard to do because we have so many new people coming in, but it's still my goal to finish in the top 50%. And I think this week we finished number 12, number 11, and number 17, which was in that top 50% right there. But talk about what goes on with you. You're somebody that has to reevaluate your goals, especially amidst the COVID-19 period.
Correct, and you couldn't have said it better, Bobby. My goal each year, and some people may think this is crazy, but my goal each year is to double production. My first year in real estate, I hit 50% over my number I was looking for. So my second year, I said, you know what? I want to double what I did my first year, and I achieved that goal. My third year, which I'm in right now for staying strong, Goals are not exactly doubling, but I am up about 50% compared to last year, which still in anybody's eyes, or corporations or companies, when you have a 50% increase year over year or 100%, you're doing well.
Right.
However, during the COVID-19, I have seen a little bit of drop in the market, still going steady and strong. I don't see a lot of loss. However, compared to last year from doubling, I think it's going to be about a 50% increase versus a 100% increase. And I still got to look at that and reevaluate how can I make up that 50% during different avenues in the real estate market itself.
And what's your advice to those people that want to learn how to set goals? Because you do a phenomenal job of setting goals for yourself. So how do you recommend it to those entry-level people looking to set goals for themselves?
I think the main thing is don't ever sell yourself short. Don't ever underestimate yourself, what hard work and determination can really do for yourself. A lot of people say, oh, I want to go into real estate and make $100,000 my first year. That's about 95% of all real estate agents that interview with Mark Dilworth, who's the team lead at the Keller Williams office in Jack Beach. However, why not go in and say, you know what, I want to make $200,000 my first year.
Right.
I want to make $300,000 my first year. Anything's possible as long as you got the hard work and determination.
Now, when we're talking about determination, something I think is really important that some people talk about, but not a lot of people know about it, is setting up a mastermind group of like-minded individuals. You and me meet once on a weekly basis to review our weekly goals, monthly goals, and our yearly goals to make sure that we're both on track and going towards them. Now, when you look at masterminding and setting up relationships that help you grow, talk about that, because you're someone that does an excellent job maintaining high-quality relationships.
I think it's important when you're talking about masterminding and setting up those meetings and things like that, add like-minded people. You know, my father used to say to me when I was younger, you know, make sure you watch out who you're hanging out with, who are you spending time with, things like that. And the main thing he said, George, listen to me and keep this with you for the rest of your life. Birds of a feather flock together. And I really took that to heart when he said that and really kind of developed that into this. And that's why I think masterminding, and like what you said, Bobby, you said it perfectly, putting yourself in groups and discussions and talking with different individuals of like-minded scenarios. I think that's great.
Birds of a feather flock together. I like that quote a lot because when I look at something,
go ahead and put that in your next book, Bobby.
Yeah, that'll be out there in my next book. I like that a lot right there because it allows you to make sure that your mindset, the habits of thought that you think every single day, get groomed by those people that you're associating yourself with. And it's one of the reasons why I like working with you, and I like working with a lot of people that have that similar motivated and determined lifestyle, because it allows us to make sure that we go in a very good direction and figure out what it is that you want to do through trial and error. You're somebody that's gone through some rocky roads, and now you're really reaching a very good cruising altitude. So how do you figure out what your mission is through trial and error?
That was beautiful. So yeah, Bobby, when you mentioned that cruising altitude, which I think is important and really compares to where I am right now, especially in my career, I do feel like I'm coasting along. However, what's very important to realize, you never want to get comfortable. And by comfortable, what I mean is that you want to always look at that next opportunity so you can grow. You don't want to be there and get sterile and just sit there. You want to grow and have that opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. And when you look at other individuals that might be trying to figure out what it is that they want to do, what do you say to them when they're like, well, George, like, I hear that sounds great, but I don't think I make enough money right now. I don't think I have the opportunities right now. What do you say to somebody like?
Are you getting up at 6 a.m. and taking notes and making your game plan for the following day and following through on everything that you say you're going to do? Are you making those calls? Are you walking in those buildings? Are you meeting those potential clients? Are you meeting with people in the office? Are you calling the top agent in the real estate market and saying, hey, I would love to shadow you for the day. Hey, can I help you out with an open house this weekend? You have to follow through and have that determination, and you have to have that mindset where you want to grow and not just live along the norm.
And I see that from you. One of the things I notice is you stop and talk to more people than the average person does, because you're always trying to knock on the door to see where opportunity is. And I think a lot of listeners, that are trying to figure out where they need to go. I don't make enough money. I don't have the opportunities I want. Just continue knocking on different doors, continuing to figure out which doors might be open by talking to everybody that you come across. Now, I don't literally mean talk to everybody that you come across, but make sure you take the time to go out, socialize, talk, engage with people, work with people, and go in that direction right there.
Socializing and lifestyle is so key and important to the real estate market for a realtor or a new agent coming on board. When you sit and talk to someone, you never know who you're going to meet.
Right.
It could be a client that needs out of a rental who you can possibly help. There's so many people out there that need help that as a real estate agent and as a realtor with your knowledge, there's a lot of people out there to help. And it's kind of not just to say your responsibility. However, meeting the right individual can open up a lot of different doors.
Absolutely. And when I hear you talk about that right there, what I think about is trial and error. You and me recently really wanted to get into farming, specifically hydroponic farming. We watched videos for a couple weeks straight on all the different opportunities within farming. We saw what Kimball Musk is doing out there in the Midwest and really thought that was a great idea. You actually flew out there to meet with him in his restaurant opening that he had out there in Colorado, and you and me took a trip down to Florida recently and realized it's not for us right now.
Right, yeah, there's a lot of different variables into play with hydroponic farming and shipping container farming. And those of you out there, listening right now, much appreciated. However, if you don't know who Kimball Musk is, this is Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla and SpaceX and the founder of PayPal. This is his brother. I recently went out last year to one of his restaurant openings out in Colorado, got invited out there. I actually got invited through Instagram. He messaged me through Instagram, flew out there, checked out the restaurant, and that was really my big inspiration to get in hydroponic farming. And when you and I went down to Miami, checked out the different hydroponic farm, technology kind of wasn't where it's at. It wasn't so much turnkey and automated what we were looking for.
Automated is a good word.
We were kind of looking for that autopilot, ready to go, push the button, push to start, as you said, which was great.
Yup.
And I don't think it's quite there yet, but when it is, I would love to reevaluate that situation and see what business opportunities arise.
And that's what I'm talking about when we look at trial and error. We thought that hydroponic farming might be for us. I know you have a farm in Virginia, so you're very familiar with the farming opportunities and what goes on with that, but we took the opportunity, made it into a little bit of vacation, went on a couple tours of different farms down there in Miami, and then realized it's not for us. But we were knocking on doors, and that's one of the important things that you want to do is go out there, go on tours, go knock on different doors and see if those things are right for you. And then let's talk about not settling. It's something that you're touching on. A lot of times people will settle for basic goals, or they'll settle for where they're at, and then they won't feel good. They won't enjoy those days. And that's where making sure that you don't settle for certain things can really help you go into a good direction. If you're looking at happiness and you want to find different ways to be happy, talk about some of your experiences and not settling for goals, but trying to continue to go in a better direction.
And when you say happy, and a lot of people associate happiness with money, I'm not necessarily saying money can buy you happiness, but I'll tell you what, money can sure make you comfortable.
Right.
And when I'm comfortable, I'm happy.
Right.
And that's just something I think anybody can agree with.
When you're looking at it from the big picture, you want to make sure that you've got health insurance. You want to make sure that you got dental insurance. You want to make sure that you have different things in your life that can help you be happy. And money will help you become happy in a certain aspect. And going to get money will also teach you different things. It'll teach you valuable personal characteristics that are going to help you in your personal life and your professional life. And I think that's one of the most important things about education. A lot of people go to school so they can get a great job. So if you want to make a lot of money, you're going to develop a whole personal educational field of things that are going to help you in the future. And when you're talking about something like that, a lot of that is defining success. So George, what exactly does success mean to you?
Having a nice fat bank account
Right.
to make sure you're secure and your family's secure.
Right.
And also leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy, I gave, $50,000 to my grandkids when I passed away. I want to be the guy living a legacy, a family business, a corporation, something that's going to live on past when I'm gone, far beyond when I'm gone. I want that to keep going, keep trucking, and I want people to be inspired by what I've done.
That gives you your motivation and determination. And when I look at somebody like you, I notice that you're somebody that is really happy. You're somebody that is motivated. You're somebody that brings a lot of happiness to other people. So when you have that vision and you're looking to define success, how much of defining success to you actually drives your motivation?
I think all of it.
Yeah.
I think all of it drives my motivation. When you hand the keys to 5 to 15 clients a month on putting them in new homes, watching the family walk in there, relocating from another state, like I mentioned before, I mean, that makes me happy. Making them, signing the papers to closing on their house, getting their keys, making that a seamless transaction for them where with no stress and no worries, that makes me happy.
That I'd like to say to listeners that are listening in on this podcast right here that are looking for ways to feel more determined and to feel more motivated is to connect with other people that are reaching those high levels of motivation. Reach out to those individuals that have already achieved some of those things that you want to achieve. And when I look at the year 2020 and I look at success, I think one of the things that I've enjoyed about this year is I've started a successful online Airbnb business where I went out at the very end of 2019 and purchased an investment property in South Florida in Port St. Lucie on the PGA Golf Tour area, right next to where the New York Mets do their spring training every year. And after I purchased that property, I began listing it on Airbnb. It's a duplex, it has an A unit and it has a B unit. And from there, I rent it out to individuals that are looking to go on vacation, that are looking for short-term stays, and it's been a phenomenal success. It's been something where I meet people from all across the country. I welcome those guests into the home. I have maid service that comes in and cleans up after them. And on top of that, I make a good source of income from it. So being that was one of my biggest successes, yeah, George, you got something to say. Absolutely.
Yeah. As a listener out there, you're probably thinking, wow, that's great, Bobby. You're doing all these things. But, what they might be asking, how do you get into something like that, Bobby?
Yeah, so how do you get into something like that? Sometimes people think, well, you're talking about making a big investment right there. Who and how can you just go and making a big investment like that right there? And one of the important things to realize is it doesn't cost all that much money to get into real estate. Two of the properties that I have right now, I didn't pay more than $3,000 each for. And what I mean is that one of the properties I purchased cost me $0 to get into. Another property that I purchased cost me less than $5,000 to get into. And the important thing to realize is that anybody has that opportunity as long as you're reaching out to somebody like yourself, George, that's in real estate that helps people get into homes, or you're reaching out to somebody that just has a lot of information in that field. And a few of my properties, I put in more money than $5,000 to get into, but it's also important to realize that some of them I didn't put all that much money into. So it's a really good question because, like you said, I think a lot of times people think that I have to put so much skin in the game to get into the game. And no, you really don't. You just have to educate yourself. You got to talk to people that are in the game, figure out what to do, and go from there. And looking at that in 2020, that's been something that's made me feel good. I enjoy doing it right now, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple months and years of just running this Airbnb business. So, George, 2020 has been underway for 5 months. You've had a lot of different things going on. What are some of your major successes that you feel really good about?
So one of my major successes is, like I mentioned before, I always want to double my last year, and a lot of people think that sounds a little crazy. However, that's one of my goals, and I like to set my goals high, and I strive to accomplish those. So I am still up from last year and beating last year at, like I said, 50%. However, I do want to get to that 100%. And in the real estate market, I've kind of realized and kind of got some tips from you regarding the investment properties and the Airbnbs and things like that. So what I'm actually looking into right now is getting into that Airbnb market to make up that additional 50% where I'm at right now, to help expand my portfolio and really grow. And like you said, you don't need much skin in the game. There's different properties you can get in for as little as like $5,000, $3,000. And that's something that I have right now. And I'm ready to make that move and see what that 50% can get me up to my 100.
Absolutely. And that's where the motivation and determination comes in. You start setting goals for yourself. You start working on your time management skills. You start building out checklists for yourself. you go into the day and you feel alive. You feel good. You start generating strong businesses. You start generating good feelings. And I think that's, we're going on the 21, 22 minute mark right now. So looking to wrap it up. But I think that's one of the things to really take away when you're looking to overcome barriers, when you're looking to feel good throughout the course of the day. Go out there, set those goals, go work on achieving those goals, and then step back and reevaluate those goals right there.
And you couldn't have said it better, Bobby. Really stepping back and reevaluating those goals is so important. And also, look out there possibly. What do you see out there for possibly, a life coach or things like that? What do you recommend when people's, I'm ready to make those moves, but I really don't know what the next steps are? What do you recommend for the people out there that are ready to get started in something like that and maybe looking for someone to guide them on that way?
And I work with multiple life coaches. So I think it's really important that you reach out to different people who offer their advice to you. I know I have a few people that I've done some life coaching for. I wouldn't consider myself by the least bit a life coach, but if somebody actually wants legitimate information from me, I'm always here for free advice. I'm always here for, if you really want me to go deep into certain aspects of life for you, obviously I take money and I will help you out with that right there. So you want to reach out to me, connect with me, and I would love to offer my advice to you at some point throughout the course of the day. But more importantly, the most important thing that you're touching on is going out and getting that coaching, seeking that coaching, getting that good understanding so that you get the knowledge to send yourself in the direction that you want to go in, and that you keep those people in your corner that hold you accountable to those goals that you go for. Because let's talk about this for a second, George. If I went and said to you that I'm looking to go do something, you being a good friend, you're going to follow up me and be like, hey, Bobby, how did that thing go that you were talking about yesterday? And you know what I'm going to say? George, it went good. Or George, it went bad. But you know what I'm not going to say? George, I didn't go out and do it. Because you know what you're going to say to me?
Talk to me.
Yeah, exactly.
How can I help?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why when you start telling people that you trust what your goals are, you're going to go in that direction. Because those accountability partners are going to make sure you feel inspired, or they're going to tell you to step back and reevaluate those goals.
Bobby, you couldn't have said it better, man. Hit the nail on the head with that.
So again, guys, appreciate you listening to the podcast. George Blum, always a pleasure having you back on. We got a big episode coming out most likely tomorrow. We got Zach Alvarado coming back on to talk about some things and developments that he has going on his end. So thank you very much. And I think you'll probably be back in the studio again tomorrow, right?
Much appreciated, Bobby. I'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 sharp.
All right, good copy, and see you soon.